while we're waiting for him to connect, Novell Jannusi. Jannusi, is it pronounced Jannusi? Novell. I just know him as Novell. Jannusi. Novell Jannusi is you should look this guy up. Beat geek, absolute legend. Some of your favorite, some of Neff's favorite songs for sure. Boy, he's got some pretty impressive credits. I can't wait to get into that with him. Is he? He's going to come back. Sounded like though he wasn't wearing a mask, so he's obviously in a place that's okay.
I wonder. That's a good thing.
While we wait for him to come back, we were in the middle of a conversation here. You did research, and now you got it. And I was saying that like force. I don't think that people are necessarily being forced like against their will. Some people can still continue to not get it, right? The vaccine, and they'll just won't be able to go into a restaurant, and they won't be able to do this and that,
or work.
Yeah,
their
or
jobs.
Work.
Well, that's a gun. The job. People get poor very fast.
Well, then go get a job in a place that doesn't require vaccinations. I don't know. Anyway, how is it going over there with COVID?
Sorry about the connection.
Is everything open there? Is it closed? What's happening?
Now it's to 9 p.m. So basically, you can't travel that easy. It's pretty much just regular flights, no other flights to get out, and so it's the lockdown. This is the fourth wave, I think.
Oh, so it's coming back strong over there. Are people getting vaccinated?
It came, yeah. It's I think now it's almost 40%, if I'm sure. But I don't want to. That's the part. Is like the vaccination here is. You don't get to choose which one you want to get vaccinated with, so people are getting confused with that too.
So, don't envy
the whole world is.
So
the whole world is wondering.
With music festivals and concerts and stuff, sort of came back, but then they didn't, and some of them are still going. Does that sort of change the economy of music? I mean, I don't know how much of a live performer you are, but your hit songs get performed on the road all the time. I'm sure that's a source of revenue for you. So how does that change sort of the way you're thinking about the game?
Yeah. You have to, I mean, you're trying to figure out other way, because I mean, I'm thinking about my fellow songwriters, my fellow musicians, to find another solution where this kind of scenario happens. It doesn't have to be such a big impact for at least the music community. I mean, it's you're barely making money, just you just barely making money just on.
You might have to pull back.
Yeah, the internet is really bad.
Yeah, that's that Moroccan internet.
Wi-Fi. The minute, that's not the internet. The Wi-Fi. The home Wi-Fi.
Okay, so episode 1, internet.
Well, listen, this is part of it, man.
Excuse me?
Oh, there we go. Now you're back. All right. Well, we've got. Can you hear us? We're having some connection issues here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
While we've got you, let's get to some fun stuff. Okay, let's talk about some positive.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay, so let's talk about some positive stuff while we've got you here. So you've worked with some really legendary artists. You've worked with some really legendary artists over the years, and big hit songs. What's the first time? What was like the first song of yours that really was that life-changing moment for you? That's what we love to ask people. Like, what was that one piece of the puzzle that was like, okay, I'm here now?
Backstreet Boys.
And How did that even come about?
Ooh, it was me, my sister King Grosso, Bilal. We were out. I was DJing on Saturday, and we're all staying at my place on the Sunday. We kind of hung over at my place, and Red called. Red was in LA at that time. He told it like he's gonna have Backstreet Boys coming over. So if we have anything to send it now. And we're all thinking like, holy crap, we don't have anything to send. So we're like, I was just sat in the computer trying to program something really fast, and AJ, my brother, jumped in on the melody, Bill and Key on the lyrics and melody, and we kind of like everybody helped chip in, and then they loved it, they recorded it, and it became a single. So
And
it's just that
what was the single for those people who are going to be looking for
Yes.
it right now?
it's called Straight Through My Heart. It was the in between album, I think from what was the album before? It was just when I think it was 13 years ago,
Wow.
something like that.
And,
More,
and
14 years ago.
and so like right after that song comes out, it's like becomes like obviously a big hit song. It's like Backstreet Boys. It's like all of a sudden the phone starts ringing.
It was more than holy crap. Like, oh my God, we have to do something better. We have to top this. We have to do, So it was kind of like a wake up call for us to do better. You never know when the time is in. You have to be ready for it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it
so.
was an interesting moment in life. We were still in Sweden at that time, so we didn't move yet to the U.S. So for
So
us, it was
I mean, I know that Neff has definitely banged that at his dinner
Just
parties. That's
yeah. I
that
just
is a
finished
jam.
listening to it.
Now, what is it about Sweden that like all these big pop records in the history of popular music, so many of them come from Sweden? What's going on over there?
it's a very interesting question. I mean, uh, from different sides, we have, I mean, Swedish artists and we have Swedish musicians, writers. Uh, so basically, it's like we had those cats. I mean, it was Dennis Pop, Max Martin, kind of like were I mean they were the top of the tops here for us in Sweden. Like I mean they were killing it, and everybody wanted to work with there. That was the thing. That was
But
the place to be.
Was Max Martin like already popular in Sweden, and then some American came over there, found him, and then
Yeah,
or
no, it's Max did hits with Dennis Pop, and then I think if I if I remember right, Max uh, two artists, big artists, was the Backstreet and NSYNC, and
yeah,
then Britney came after that,
sure,
if I
unbelievable. And
remember
like,
correctly.
if you like look back at like even just like ABBA, like there's just
Oh
like a
yeah,
certain
oh yeah.
sort of like there's a certain sort of like harmonious kind of there's a style that's like this Swedish style that there are like these harmonies and the way it's not like very songs sometimes take like a left turn. There's great bridges always. There's like a certain kind of
And
there's more.
and Swedish snooze. You gotta have this when you're in the studios in Sweden.
Is that dip?
Yeah, it's like Swedish snuff. Everybody in Sweden knows what it is.
That's amazing. And
No,
and
I
you know, so is there something to that though? It's like there's just like a different way to sort of a different lens they're looking through to make music.
um, of course. I mean, the melody structure is very different, but it's almost like surgically planned for the
Yeah,
melodies and everything. Uh, it's
a lot of
really
harmonies
well
too.
thought.
A lot of
Most,
harmonies. A
oh
lot of
yeah,
harmonies.
Hmm.
melodies in the harmonies
They've
too.
got Bone
They kind of
Thugs
like
and
color it
harmony over
nice.
there. Yeah.
Exactly. No,
So what?
I mean to be honest, uh, the Swedish, it's kind of like it became like just a hub for it. Like everybody's trying to be better than the other one, and the competition was such a strong competition to be really good in Sweden. I mean, you have to be fighting with the. I mean, comparing yourself with the biggest producers there. I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
The competition.
Now in that part of the world, is it like in America, people who want to like they're musicians, they want to make it, they go to New York, they go to Los Angeles, they go to Nashville. If someone's in Canada, they go
Exactly.
to Toronto. So if someone's in that part of the world, if you're a musician, you go to Sweden to like is that the place to go get discovered?
Oh, that's a good question. And
Well, we're waiting on this. While we wait for him to reconnect with us, what do you think the answer is going to be? I think it's going to be yes.
like the Motown of
Yeah,
their
like grow up over there, and you're like, oh, well, someday I'm going to move to Sweden.
yeah.
I'm going to
That's a
make it.
good question. That's a
You
great
know,
question.
someday I'm gonna move to Sweden, and I'm gonna make a life for myself in Sweden. It's like that's like the, that's the goal. So obviously he's worked with RedOne, he's worked with Backstreet Boys. I'm just looking up some other credits. Maybe WireFang wants to drop some
Yeah,
knowledge.
he was part of the team with RedOne when they were making all of the hits with Backstreet
Like
Boys and
Backstreet Boys,
Enrique.
Lady
Oh, here
Gaga,
he is. Here he
Stupid
is.
Love.
I meet this
Yeah.
guy in an arcade playing Mortal Kombat
Oh,
in
that's hilarious.
Dusseldorf.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you hear me? Are you back?
Yeah, yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Question was so like people on that side of the world, like the way that in America people, if you're a musician, you go to LA or you go to New York or you go to Nashville.
Yeah.
In Canada you go to Toronto. In that part of the world is like, oh, I gotta go to Sweden so I can get discovered. Is like that sort of the hub for music?
I think so. I mean, if being born and raised there and kind of like trained there, mentored there, there was a lot of people coming from all over, from UK, from England to whatever Max and that team didn't take, it got spread to the other ones. So everybody was making bread,
Right,
basically.
right.
So they kind of like started. They were making such a buzz, so like everybody else could make money out of. I mean, if you can't get Max or the Chevron team at that time, it was nobody until then. I mean, then RedOne team. Of course, there was Merlin Music before that. That was killing it. Uh, so there was a couple of production companies that was really doing it.
We have, sorry, Mr. Novell, we have a Danny guest.
Gee, you Weezy.
What's up?
You guys,
Danny,
What's up?
What's up, Stewie?
yo, before we got to get to Danny Gez here, I just want to just get one point out here with our buddy Novell here. Just one more second here. So it's kind of like interesting because like in American modern sort of popular music, and I'm thinking I listen to hip hop a lot, so I'm going to use hip hop as an example. But it's like the equivalent of like Atlanta blows up. Now all the Atlanta rappers are like and producers can make money. Houston has a run. Now Houston is in the mix. Miami gets on, and now there's all these 305 guys. Is it like that? Is it so, or even Toronto with Drake? All of a sudden, is that? What do you think? Is there
Is
something there?
Sweden the hot spot for artists?
It's got to be.
For artists, yeah. Yeah, always. It's always going to be that because like it always comes new producers and they get trained by those that already been international and they get better and better. It's crazy. It's like they start when they like if I don't know, like 11. So kind of like I mean, I started when I was 17, 16, work with, whatever you got to work with, the
Yeah,
PCs, 16-inch tape or whatever, like whatever you had, it had to work with it. Like just to sound freaking kick was like those you guys remember by discs. They had to put on a Kai and then you have to sample it. And
yeah.
next disc. That's what was our kit. So it's different. Different. These guys are super fast. kind of like get how it works. So yeah, and they're learning from guys that are already been there, you know. So it's fun.
It's
The
unbelievable.
new generations all over the world.
It's unbelievable because especially like in pop music, outside of, you know, in North America, you know, it's become such a melting pot now. But I mean, there's literally artists from all walks of life that are on the radio now. But there was a period of time where it's like either they were English artists or Swedish artists. Other than that, only American all the way.
Yeah, yeah. But it's been like that back and forth. Uh, but the only thing I feel like now with the new generation, it's just like they keep learning the like history, music history, because people tend to forget about it. Because when you talk to young generation, I work with a lot of young talents. They're not so like when you talk to them about Michael Jackson and stuff like that, they kind of like know a little about everything, but not fully like why, how, like all those stuff. Tupac, the story behind it, like I think that's very interesting how they like kind of like know a little bit of everything, but not really go full in those 10,000 hours on
I
certain
completely agree
specific
with
things.
you. I completely agree with you. And I think that's a generational thing in some weird way because like when I was a teenager, like
Yeah.
I knew who the Beatles were, I knew who the Rolling Stones were, I
Yeah.
knew their songs, I knew who was in them, I knew music. And now you get with kids these days and like they don't know like, and I hate to be old man yelling on the porch,
Yeah.
but it's like they don't even. I
Yeah.
had an artist that
Exactly.
once was like, "Oh, Biggie, I listened to some Biggie. He has a tough life." I'm like, "What?" Like he didn't even
You're
know
like,
Biggie was dead. I was like, "What?" It's like
exactly. That's
it's
what I'm saying.
it's wild.
Never thirsty.